Let's talk through a real quick scenario we had with this carrier RTU real quick. Now we've currently got it in stop on purpose, but what we ended up having was we have a bad motor master up there on circuit A. And the first thing we noticed was the system kept tripping on a T, let's go back here, I'll show you. A T48, 51, and 52. And one of those, I think it was the 48, is like an oil loss alarm. Part of what was giving us trouble was circuit 1, which is on the other side, kept running out of oil in the sight glasses on the compressors. And it was really strange. Had a technician kind of working through it yesterday and was really trying to sort through what was happening. And when I was talking to him, now keep in mind it's in the 60s today. Yesterday when he was here was in the 50s to 60s. It was about the same conditions, but the fans were just not quite controlling properly. We noticed that the condenser fan motors were running whenever they shouldn't have been. Like it wasn't right. What ended up having them do was we pulled one of the fan motors because they weren't cycling down like they're supposed to. We pulled one of them off of the contact up there so that we would only run off of the one fan, or we would remove that fan from the circuit, and we were driving the head pressure up. And once we did that, it started returning the oil. We got head pressure back. Everything started doing fine, and it actually stayed online at that point, where prior it wasn't running for more than just a few minutes at a time, or I guess it was maybe like 10 minutes or less than 10 minutes at that, before the oil would run out and it would end up tripping. Head pressure issues, it was really acting weird, and he kept getting a LCS alarm on the motor master drive there, the little micro drive. Now he didn't realize that was as significant of a thing until we got there, or got here this morning. We got to looking closer, and that's when we figured out that, okay, that's not supposed to be like that. Something weird is going on, but we'll get back to that. So that was the inevitable issue of where we concluded yesterday, was we were not controlling head pressure properly. Because we weren't properly controlling head pressure, it was allowing our condenser pressure to drop too much. And that's part of what that motor master's job is to do, is it is supposed to control the head pressure of the system to the point where it's going to ramp outside of that contact. So that contact controls two motors on top of the unit for that section of coils, and the motor master runs one fan in the middle. So you have 3 fans total for that circuit. And so what it's expecting to do is it's going to ramp that motor master fan up and down to maintain the head pressure like it's supposed to. So that's what it wasn't doing. We weren't getting that. And one of the things that, we identified this morning is whenever it loses signal on that motor master, it is programmed to automatically go as a default to 57 hertz. And it has to maintain a minimum voltage on the input side of that motor master so that it can verify that, hey, I have a signal that I'm supposed to have. That's what we were working through this morning. We were trying to go through and it's not the most straightforward, but you eventually look hard enough, you can find that as part of the low ambient kit option, you eventually found that J9 was analog output 1 running to the motor master signal. That motor master signal was what we were trying to find, which we found that circuit A goes off of RX, RXB board right here, here's your J9. Circuit B goes off of it's EXB board. So you have RX and EX, circuit A, circuit B. So once we finally identified it on the schematic and we confirmed that circuit B, even at a full stop, we were doing fine on the motor master for circuit B. Motor master for circuit A was giving us trouble. Now what that means, though, so kind of backtracking a little bit, is circuit A was not controlling the condenser fan because it was going to a default hertz at the 57 hertz, and it was running at a high rate of speed, and the unit, because of how the control logic is written, it was not staging down the contactors because it was expecting that motor master to do the staging for it at that time. So that led us to, okay, well, why are we having a control signal issue for that? Which leads us to your EXV board, which is running that particular circuit. So monitoring this output, you know, we ended up pulling both outputs. So we shut the unit down, as you see. You know, we put it in stop. We came in here and we pulled both of these J9s, and we just did a comparison. We had 22.7 and 22.7 volts DC coming out of both boards. So we said, okay, well, we have the voltage there on both of those boards for an output. Why are we not showing signal over here? So then at that point, we pretty well had a pretty good idea what was going to happen. And as soon as you pull J9 off on the EXB board, the motor master for circuit B starts showing a loss of control signal as well. Same thing that we were seeing on the motor master for circuit A. So then I had him take the plug from B and go ahead and plug into circuit A board, and sure enough, the signal going to the motor master B showed that it has signal again, meaning that A should have gotten it off of that board as well. So that just confirmed that, you know, we had everything all the way through, and the motor masters were getting the signal. The problem is circuit A motor master was not. There's a problem with that motor master at this point. We're gonna have to replace it and install a new motor master in its place. But again, the problem it was creating was it was allowing the system to go into a low ambient state because it wasn't properly cycling the fans like it needed to. And when it was going into a low ambient state, it was causing the oil, we're losing velocity on refrigerant, which was causing oil to stack in the evap. And obviously you're going to have issues with the refrigerant stacking in the condenser at that point. All the same low ambient situations you deal with at any, the whole reason we have low ambient control to begin with. So we had lost our low ambient control function because that motor master had failed, and the default is to ramp up to 57 hertz. So it was overcooling the condenser coil, and that created this whole scenario. So we're going to lock out circuit A here now, and we're strictly running on circuit B. Once they approve that motor master, we'll get it changed out, and the expectation is that is going to address the low ambient condition issue that condenser coil is facing on that circuit. I hope that made sense. I was trying to run through it fairly quickly. I got a busy day ahead of me. I can't spend too much time on this video, but that is what this situation is. That's what happened, and that's the sequence of events. He was troubleshooting, you know, the sensors yesterday. He was going through the refrigerant circuit, trying his best to verify it. He identified the oil issue on the oil sight glass, and it was losing it in the sight glass altogether. And then we had to put together just, okay, where are we going from there? We identified low ambient condition, yada yada. You know, we went deeper into the call at that point. Anyway, appreciate it, guys. MTT, put time in with your family, put time in with your spouse, your kids. They really need you. And I hope you enjoy this video. YouTube's gonna recommend to you over here. Y'all take care.